What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Fiction. Before I start this video, I just want to say that this entire movie I will be spoiling. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to hear the spoilers, I suggest you wait until you watch the movie first, go watch it, and then come back here and listen to my opinion on it. I also want to say trigger warning, there are things in this movie and in this review that may trigger those who have been exposed to these things. And these things that are happening have been specifically towards women in this film. So if you do not want to see anything that involves molestation, sexual harassment, rape, then I would suggest not watching this at the review. So today we're going to talk about The Girl Next Door 2007 movie. It was written by Daniel Farrands and directed by Gregory Wilson. It is 1 hour and 31 minutes. It's rated R, and it's a thriller horror movie. Now, this movie is about a group of kids living in a suburban neighborhood who are honestly a bunch of sickos who enjoy being sexist, rapists, evil, and just downright inhumane. A new girl moves in next door. She, I believe, was orphaned, so she had to move in with her aunt. Her and her sister, who is disabled, had to move in with the aunt. And the boy next door becomes friends with her, becomes fond of her. He slowly starts to learn that she's being harmed, she's being tortured, and he even is witness to all of this. This movie was... oh God, like, I honestly don't know how I sat and watched this whole thing. First off, this movie is said to be based off the book written by Ketchum, the 1989 novel, which I hear is inspired by a true event that happened to this woman named Sylvia Likens, who was murdered. And my God, these were children. These were young girls that this happened to, especially the main girl that this happened to. The fact that she had to go through this, I was so full of rage and so disgusted at the same time by what was happening to her by this lady. Let's talk about the acting. The acting was so good that I was convinced that this was real. And then later on I found out that this was real. I mean, I don't know what parts were real, what parts were not, but this was based off a real murder of a girl. And I was like, they outdone their roles, because I hate every single one of these characters on here. All of them. Except maybe for the little boy, the neighbor, but the way she was treated, just absolutely disgusting. And the aunt, such a miserable, disgusting, old, raggedy, jealous hag. Like, she started this. It's her fault that any of this even happened. First of all, you're a grown woman. You're an older woman, and you're letting this happen, and you're teaching these boys that it's okay. She's the worst type of person, okay? She's the worst out of all of the people on the end of this film, because they were kids, and all she did was let them know that this is okay to do. And then, like, the way she talked about women, even though she was a woman, and I'm like, you are just disgusting. Like, you're vile. Like, I hope you get what's coming to you, because whatever it's gonna come, it's gonna be horrible. Like, she was just the worst. The worst. The verbal abuse, the torture. I mean, it was so terrible and so sad, because the girl didn't even have anyone to help her. Like, no one went to go snitch because they were so afraid. No kid was like, this is wrong, I'm gonna go tell somebody. I mean, it happened, but it happened really, like, at the end of the film. And that's what hurt me the most. Like, I was like, damn, they sat and did this for how long? How many days? You know, she went through this brutal torture, rape. Like, I was just mortified. Like, I wanted to come through that screen, and I wanted to, like, help her in any way that I could, because it was just traumatizing to even witness as a movie. I mean, they let her hang up for days, tortured. For days. Hung up by strings, ropes, starving, beating, raping, sexually harassing, calling her names, abuse. I mean, the amount of things that they did to her, it's almost like you couldn't fathom the amount of torture that was happening to her. Like, man, I couldn't even imagine myself on set watching this because it's terrible. Another actor that was just completely absurd in a different way was the dad. I mean, first of all, the amount of misogyny in this movie, amount of abuse, rape, and harassment. This movie just, oh my God, like, throw all the characters in the garbage. Just bring the garbage man, bring him here, take all of them, put them in the trash can, and throw them out because they are garbage. Literally every single character, garbage, with the exception of the little boy, just because he was afraid, he didn't really know, and the little girl who was disabled, and of course the girl that was tortured. But everyone else, just throw them out. Throw them in the garbage, please, because it was horrible. All these characters failed her, and even the little boy, I know that he was scared, but I was also like, damn, why did he wait so long? You know? Why did he wait so long? But I'm gonna get to that part. Let's talk about the dad. So the dad, good God. The dad made this passive-aggressive, misogynistic comment, and it took me out nearly. It nearly took me out, the movie. I was like, no, he did not. No, he did not. The son comes to him, and he's like, Dad, is it ever okay to hit a girl? Like, is it wrong? And he was like, well, that's a tricky question. First of all, that's where he first was wrong, because the answer should have been straight up no. He was like, well, you know, I've seen it, and sometimes they even deserve it, but don't do it. But, you know, I be wanting to sometimes. My anger be getting me crazy. But, I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing to do, but, you know, sometimes it depends on the circumstances. But also, they're a weaker species, so that kind of would be bullying. Like, he would say things that would contradict something else he would say, and then he would say something else, and then it would go against, like, everything that, whatever point he was trying to make, and it would just be like, you're saying one thing, but you're still being misogynistic at the same time. Like, what point are you making? The dad literally did not help. And I think because of how he said it, and because of how he worded it, whatever point he was trying to make, because he didn't make a point. He should have just been quiet and said no. He just said no, it's not okay. That's it. Because I think if he would have presented it better, the little boy would have told him. Because he was like, he was running around in circles and being passively misogynistic. Like, yeah, son, it's okay, but like, only if like you kind of have to. But also, don't ever do it. I don't want to see you do it. But also at the same time, they are weak, and like, it's like, how are you gonna belittle it, but then tell him not to do it? But at the same time, say, well, you know, sometimes it does happen, and they do be deserving it. Like, go sit down, please. Please. I'm like, the many things that is wrong with this delivery. I can't. Then he's like, you know, it can go both ways, you know, but also mind your business and keep your head down, because, you know, it's none of your business. Him ending with mind your business, it's none of your business, don't get involved. That really was what set the tone for the kid and made him not tell the truth. His presentation, the dad's, he went to the wrong person about this. He should have went to his mom. He should have talked to his mom about it. But see, the times, you know, this is an old school movie. I mean, it came out in like 2007, so it's not really that old school because it's still the 2000s. But I mean, you can tell that the dad was kind of like, what he says goes. Like when they were at the dinner table, he said something and the mom got mad and got up out her seat. And I'm just like, this is how I can tell about the cultural difference, because if this was another family, this is not flu. Like, this would have went a completely different way. But because I'll say the cultural differences between this family and a different family, it wouldn't have been like that. I'm just, no. I was just like, I mean, I know that's still sexism today, but damn, it was so blatant back then. Like, wow. Just wow. Now, back to the aunt. The aunt had a nerve to make a comment about incest, and I was like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't try to act like she got morals all of a sudden. As if everything she's been doing is not wrong as hell and trifling. And all of a sudden she's like, no, you can't have sex with that girl, rape that girl, because that's basically what she made her kids do, told her kids to do, and made it seem like it was okay to rape her. You can't have sex with her after your brother. That's incest. I'm like, she got some nerve talking about incest. Oh, all of a sudden you got morals now? I hated this lady, y'all. I cannot stand her, and I cannot stand her kids. You know, I got to the point where I didn't even care that they were influenced by her. I was like, something wrong with this whole family. Like, something is wrong. Something been wrong probably from them from the day they was born. Look at who their mom is, and she is just miserable. And now this lady. When it got down to the rape scene and the anticipation of it was coming, the music, I just literally, as I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, like, shaking my head, closing my eyes, because I knew it was coming and I really didn't want it to happen. But it was just heartbreaking, like, seeing it, and I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I can't believe this is happening. And if this is based off something that happened to someone who was murdered, the woman, it's just, to know that this is happening out in the world even now, it's really saddening and terrible that this is happening. And I bet even more terrible to watch it for that kid who had to watch that and feeling helpless and defenseless, like he couldn't do anything. And the girl and her sister, the trauma that they probably have to deal with as adults, it's just, that lady got everything she deserved in the end. I was like, she died too fast. She deserves the worst that's gonna come to her. And so do those kids. I'm sorry. But I was just sitting here watching this movie like, where do they come up with these sick concepts? Like, God. I knew that this one was based off a murder, true events murder, which I should have looked deeper into to talk about that too. If you guys know anything about that, definitely comment below, let me know. Just this movie, the torture goes from worse to worse to worse. Like, when it got to the part where she was like, she comes up with this sick idea to castrate the poor girl, I was like, this lady is beyond evil. Like, she is wicked. You go to the dictionary, you look up the word evil, there's a picture of this lady. There's a picture of this lady next to the word in the dictionary. That's how evil she is. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, I can't imagine having to watch it, having to have it happen to you. I don't even know what to say, because that girl, she just went through so much that she should not have been put through. I said, I was really upset that it took so long. But one thing I lastly want to mention is, like, okay, first of all, the police came mighty fast. I guess because it's a small town. I don't know. But also, why didn't the cop guy call the ambulance? I'm just like, what? Make it make sense. He he picked up the little girl who's already traumatized. I'm like, I don't know where he's taking her, because she's seen it all. She's traumatized already. Why are you picking her up and taking her? Like, where you go? And the girl's sitting there suffering. He's like, stay with her. And I'm just like, did you call the ambulance? Because what? I don't hear nothing. And by the time he gets back, she's dead. So I'm like, what were you doing that entire time? Like, why didn't you call nobody? What? Like I said, everybody felt her, and it's so sad. Like, these people. But it ends with this quote by the guy who is an adult, because he was the one telling the story, and he says that the past catches up, and I took that as we gotta face our trauma and deal with our trauma even as adults, and it doesn't go away. You gotta deal with it sooner than later. And he also says that it's what you do last that counts. And I was like, maybe he felt like he got her the ring, and that was all he could do. But then I was like, does it count last? Because if somebody would have snitched, she probably would have been alive. You know, it's no one to blame, and they were children, but does what you do last count? I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that quote, honestly, but this movie left me with so many emotions. Like, I was like, those sons definitely probably grew up to be rapists, killers, murderers, and psychopaths. They're not coming back from that. I'm sorry. That's... their whole adulthood is just... no. I had to watch, like, 3 comedy sessions to, like, fix my brain after this movie. Like, I had to watch, like, 3 stand-up comedy sessions online shows, because I was like, wow, like, this is some sick shit. Like, God. But I don't even know how to rate the movie. Like, is it a good movie? Because it's a very traumatizing movie. Like, it goes there, and I wouldn't want people to have to watch it, but at the same time, it's a good movie. It's just messed up that this was based off someone's murder, and that this does happen. Like, even now this happens with, like, human trafficking, women being trafficked. This is just sick beyond sick. And if you want to watch this and check it out, you know, be consciously aware of the trauma of it. But yeah, it was something else of a movie. And thank you for that request who told me about it. Yeah, I just, wow. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. Fuck. So before you go, be sure to give me your email so that I can send you a copy of Rain by Yoshua T. Outlaw. Again, I have not got the copies. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because of the whole, like, quarantine still thing, or I don't know what, but a lot of my mail has been, like, slow. So it still hasn't come yet. And also, because I've been reading this, I've been actually finding out that there are a few things I need to correct as far as the grammatical errors. Like I said, I wrote this myself. I edited this myself. I formatted this myself. I chose the cover. Everything I did all by myself. Like, the whole thing. So, it's just a learning process, really, and I appreciate everybody who's been buying this and supporting this. I will be going back into it one more time to edit once I finish reading this whole thing and resending out books to those who did order and feel like they want a new copy. But for those who are interested in a copy, you can send me your email and I will let you know, or you can hit the link in the description box below and purchase it off of Amazon. But just know that purchasing off of me will be cheaper, and it'll be better because it won't be going through a distribution. It'll be going straight to me into my pockets, and that would be very appreciated because, like I said, I wrote and did this whole thing by myself. It was a lot of work, and it's just a learning process for me, and I would just get better and better with time. Now, my book Rain is a story. It is a psychological thriller sprinkled with some sci-fi thriller in there. It is about a group of young adults in a psych ward who have been living in a psych ward for mainly their entire life. and they're thinking they're never going to get out. They all have mental illnesses, and they get this counselor who starts to learn that I don't think that y'all are truly crazy. I think something else is going on in this place. He starts to learn that this place might be haunted, and it's making him come face to face with his trauma and his problems. And he's learning that there's something deeper going on with these kids in this facility, and he's trying to uncover that throughout this series. It is a bit of a slow burn because I have to do introductions of the characters. You have to slowly get into their background, but there are things horrifically happening around him, things that he's noticing that's happening, things that he's noticing that's happening with himself and around him and with the other kids. If you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and be sure to hit that notifications bell so that you can get notified when I make videos. Yeah, so peace out.